Hello and welcome to Gravitas WINS Conversations. We learn and grow when we are part of communities. But growing communities is not an easy job. I've been part of a community that Rajesh has built. There is fun, there is learning, there is sharing, all under the vigilant eyes of Rajesh. Hope you will enjoy today's conversation as Rajesh shares some of his learnings in building communities. Hello, Rajesh. Welcome to the conversation.
Hi, Joseph. So happy to be here. So happy to be here.
Rajesh, let's start with this. How did you get started with building communities?
Well, it all happened very seamlessly. I think somewhere the seed for this was put inside me by the that series Friends, right?
Yes.
See, we all, we as a default, mindset, we are all of us are running after wealth, and but the end goal of wealth is happiness and togetherness,
Mm.
right? And somewhere in the subconscious, I think I wanted to short circuit that process. Why not wealth will come whenever it comes, but let me have a set of like-minded people with me, and let me enjoy my life, right? So Jungly CEO was the first community that I built, Jungly CEO.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And that happened quite serendipitously, because I was very much, I am very much into wildlife and birding and all that. And as an impromptu kind of a initiative, I launched a trip to Corbett National Park
Hmm.
for my BNI friends. Now, BNI is another community that
Yeah.
I'm a part of. It's that many people must be knowing. And within no time, the trip was full. I had 9 people coming with me, and I took them to Corbett, and everyone had a gala time over there. We had amazing sightings. Anyway, that is, um, um, you know, something on the side. But what really amazed me was that at the end of the trip, on the last day, I saw them doing business with each other,
Mm.
connecting each other. They had really formed such bonds and trust with each other that they were acting as if they've known each other for years. And that set me thinking. I said, this is amazing. These guys have had a great time, and at the same time, they are going to recover many times the amount that they've spent on this trip. So why not turn this into a venture? So that was
Hmm.
my first venture, that I community that I built. Uh, then the other community is a really special one, which I built, the second one. This happened when an NGO, they work for visually impaired people. They invited me over to one of the get-togethers, right? And I was amazed that when people were coming in front and introducing themselves, and they were talking about their deepest desires, they were all talking about travel. They were all talking about travel. I was utterly surprised. We living in our ivory towers, we think, yeah, this person can't see. No, travel should be way down his priority list. What will he enjoy in travel? But no, travel is something that everyone wanted to do. And very interesting. Later on, I figured out why this bias in our mind. You know, we, Why? Because the word travel is so closely related to the word sightseeing.
Mm,
There's the
mm,
word
mm.
sightseeing. We do not realize there is a lot more to travel and holidays and vacations than just seeing. Anyways, when it came my turn to introduce myself, I pledged there, I promised all of them that I am going to make this come true for you. And this was 2013, and that was the first Envision Journeys trip that I took. Yeah, I call that initiative Envision Journeys. It is not a commercial venture. I just take one trip per year, and these trips are, sponsored by my friends and people I know. I just send out an appeal, and they sponsor, and I take a set of visually impaired people. We just came back from Corbett a couple of weeks back, and for the first time ever now, I'm now conducting a trip which is a non-sponsored one, where all the uh, you know everyone, the visually impaired people as well as the volunteers, we take a set of sighted volunteers also with us for obvious reasons. So everyone will be paying the full amount and coming on board. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to take them to Pangot. This is a bird sanctuary. We've been there before, and people have an amazing time just listening to birds, and just feeling and touching the curios in the dining areas. They have bird figurines and other things, and then there's the garden, and the weather. Everything is so perfect over there. So we are going to take another group in May, and yes, now coming to the community that you are a part of. So
Yes.
yes, this is also a 5-year-old community. It started off again on one of my offsite. It just occurred to me, we are part of so many random WhatsApp groups which just suck up our time, right? They do nothing else. So why not have one WhatsApp group where people are talking about books, where people are talking about what they've learned from those books. And I still remember that day I was sitting in a patio of Dehradun, uh, some small lodge, and thankfully there was a signal, and I created that group. I called it the business owner book club, and I sent out a link to a few of my friends that if you want to join, this is something where I've started. This is the objective. If you want to join, please join. I had absolutely no clue. By the end of the day, I had over 100 people joining in, and people I did not have any clue who they were. So so that was the beginning, and it has just happened. I have not had to put much of an effort. It just, after that, the community itself has led me, and it has demanded things which I have merely kept giving that to them. We started having book review meetings. We started having workshops. We started having trainings. We started having working vacations. Huh? And then recently, now this is the big news. Now this is the big news. uh, we got approached by a strategic investor, uh, and he, along with another member who is now who has been a part of the book club right from the beginning, the three of us have now joined hands to take this book club to a completely different level. It's going to be completely unrecognizable from where it is right now. It's called Grey Leap now, Grey Leap, and it is not going to be restricted to business owners anymore. We said, why not put in everyone who loves learning, everyone who enjoys reading. So that's what we are going to do, and that's what we have set out to do. It's going to be a national level club uh, venture. We'll be having clubs all across the country. In 2 years' time, we have a target of 20 clubs this year and 100 by the end of next year. And after that, in the year after that, we are going to go global. We'll start having international members almost immediately this year itself, but properly, like, we'll go global by the year after, to 2024. So that's the
Lovely,
plan.
lovely. Yeah, lovely to hear all of this, Rajesh. You talked about the community coming together, especially the BNI community, the first community that you talked about. They come together when there is fun and when they trust each other.
Right.
Business happens automatically,
Absolutely. Yes.
and that has been my experience with the business book club as well, the WhatsApp group first that you started, which have now morphed into Grey Leap.
Right.
uh, that book club also, I kept sharing some books that I liked. I learned from other readers, and then when I started my coaching, uh, many of them joined from there.
Hmm.
And as you know, for even for this podcast, many of the
Right.
guests were from that particular thing. So
Right.
when there is a trust in the
Right.
community,
Right. Absolutely.
business, as you rightly said, it automatically
It
happens.
happens. Yes. Yes.
uh, Rajesh, you have built both offline communities
Hmm.
and online communities.
Hmm.
Are there any differences? And if there are, what are those differences?
No, plenty of differences. Plenty of differences, Joseph. Number one, uh, and there are pros and cons to both these communities. Online community will definitely give you a much wider reach,
Hmm.
right? It will help you get connected to people anywhere in the world. I got connected. You are part of this community because it was on an online mode
Yes.
only at one point in time. It came
Yes.
into the hybrid mode later. But if you need bonding, if you need a sense of belongingness,
Hmm.
then offline is the only way to do it.
Mhm.
No matter how much you try, it's just not the same in the online space. You know. So I will always gravitate towards the offline model. So even though Grey Leap is going to be, it's going to be have a big online component. It's going to have a big virtual component, because in one meeting every month is going to be virtual, which anyone anywhere in the world can attend. But we are focusing on physical meetups every month, one physical meetup every month, at least one, in which everyone can attend and enjoy that human interaction, which makes us, the social animals that
Humans.
we are. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said, Rajesh. Let's switch gears and then we'll keep going between the moderators and being a member
Yeah.
and the benefits. Now, as a moderator, what are the challenges of both offline and offline online communities?
Yeah. Online communities, you must have experienced this so many times. You are part uh, of a WhatsApp group, and then you wake up in the morning and there are about 10 good morning messages waiting for you in that group. Right? And god forbid, if it is 1st of January or Diwali
Oh,
or Holi, then you've had it. So yeah, thankfully, we kept that discipline. and I was very clear, this is not a group where you can randomly wish good morning or happy Diwali to anyone. It is going to be a very focused group. If you want to wish someone, then by all means wish them on a one-to-one basis. But you don't go around walking on the street and randomly wish happy Diwali to anyone, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So somehow we forget that rule when we are in an online space. So that's the way we are. So now, as you must have also noticed, hardly anyone, everyone knows that this is not the place. They are going to get a sharp slap on the wrist, and
Yes.
if that happens, and worse, they are going to
Be banned.
yeah, they are going to be checked out for a day at least. So everyone knows. And as far as moderating an offline meeting is concerned, an offline version of this is concerned, uh, I always try to make it fun, and I don't feel the need to start the meeting by chalking out the rules, or switch off your mobile phones, or don't do this, don't do that. If you're fun and people are engrossed in all that fun, there is no need for any such rules. People thoroughly enjoy themselves, they immerse themselves into the experience. And every meetup that we've had, we just finished the 19th one. Every meetup that we've had, I'll tell you, the members who come over there, it is such a hard time to tear them away from the venue at the end of it. The owners of the venue are coming and whispering in my ear, sir, time khatam ho gaya, time khatam ho
Time.
gaya. And they just won't leave. They're just having their fun. And now what we started doing is we've started shifting all the fun to a nearby restaurant or somewhere. you know so that's the beauty of it. That's the
Yeah.
sheer joy of it. The sheer joy of it. I just between you and me, secret, I would even do this for free.
Fantastic, fantastic, Rajesh. Now you're absolutely right. When people are having fun, you want to be part
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, a moderator is not a police. I mean,
Yeah,
you also want
absolutely.
to have fun, and that's why you
Yeah,
created it.
yeah.
Okay. On that particular front, how do you keep the rules in place,
Hmm.
but also keep the enthusiasm growing? So, what do you do? Is there anything that you do specially for that?
No, I just like I said, I have in the community. I have put this in the group description. Everyone who joins the community has to go through the through the description of the community, the guidelines of the community, and introduce themselves as per the guidelines. Number one. And
Mm.
once they have been through the guidelines, they know very well that what is to be done, what is not to be done. Plus, even in the online space, if you've noticed, we keep it fun and light. you know
Mm.
you can crack jokes, even at the expense of each other. It's fine. So it's perfectly fine. You have fun. Learning is a process that it will get better when you're having fun
Mm.
while learning. That's why
Mm.
the uh, our motto at Grey is for the love of learning. For the love
Mm.
of learning. So you need to love that process. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, who is a good community member?
A good community member is someone who is contributing in either of these ways, two ways. Either he or she is uh, giving inputs, right,
Yeah.
for others to consume, or he is a good consumer.
Mm.
Even that is a a good community member. I don't go by that thing, that logic that everyone needs to keep posting or no. If you're part of the group, and if you're enjoying, if you're just witnessing that, if you're learning from it, good. I need you away.
Okay. Uh, Now, how do you manage your time? Because you're part of these communities. These are, of course, Greyleap is a venture, commercial venture, but other things you are doing it on your passion and as a hobby, and you have a job to do and you have a family to run. How do you manage your time? How do you think about it?
You remind me of a very old movie of Anil Kapoor and Madhuri Dixit. I don't remember the name now. And he is asked कि इतना कुछ आप करते हो. He's a college student. और मुझे
Hmm.
ट्यूशन पढ़ा लोगे? She's asking him something like that. कहते कहते तुम्हारे पास टाइम होगा? कहते टाइम होता नहीं है, निकालना पड़ता है. So, like I said, this is such an enjoyable process for me. I don't even feel I'm
Hmm.
taking out time.
Hmm.
It just happens. I in my professional life, I am into branding and
Mm.
marketing. That's what I do. I have a full-fledged company, the Monks, and that's where my bread and butter comes from. But this is something that is at a completely different level.
Wonderful. See, I'm sure you have benefited. You talked about business
Yeah,
being built
yeah,
out of this particular community,
right.
which is all the members have derived.
Mm,
But how have you benefited?
mm.
It could be directly, say for example, some businesses will come and so on and so forth, but also not so obvious benefit. Are there any not so obvious benefit that you have received from this?
Not so obvious benefits. No, actually, getting connected to such a wonderful set of people, and what has also happened, because it is a community of people who themselves are so driven.
Hmm.
They have taught me a lot on how to, at one level, how to go about life in a way that you enjoy, and at the same time keep learning. And at another level, they have also taught me how to approach business in a different way.
Mm.
Yeah. And it has all been so effortless. It has all been so effortless. I've thoroughly enjoyed that process. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That-
Uh, yeah, Rajesh, if you're okay, let's talk about Grey Leap for a while.
yeah, yeah,
And you talked about love of learning is the motto of Grey
yeah,
Leap.
yeah.
Uh, how can people find more information? How can people join that?
Hmm.
And again, like I mean, how can people
All right.
contribute to the
Okay,
growth
okay,
of
okay,
Grey Leap?
okay. We have they can find out more about us through our website, grayleap.com.
Hmm.
Gray is spelled with an A. It is GRAYLEAP. So
Hmm.
grayleap.com is the website. They can find us on LinkedIn. They can find us on Facebook. They can find us on Insta. And anyone who's going through this podcast, can find me on LinkedIn, and I can connect them to Grey Leap if that is the need, and they can find out more about it through me as if they want. They can find out more about it through my partners, my wonderful partners, Amrendra Srivastava and Atul Goswami. So they can, uh, you know, search for them, and they can find out more about it.
Okay. And how do they join? Is there a form to fill
Yes,
up,
yes,
or it
there is
just
there is
okay?
there is a form to fill up. There is a form to fill up, and there is a token kind of a fee of just rupees 3,000 that everyone has to pay on joining. And mind you, this like I said, and I would like to reiterate that this is not a, a community restricted to business owners now, and uh, anyone. Be For example, we are going to launch book clubs for teenagers now. Their summer vacations are going to start, and we have a
Yes.
lineup of such amazing workshops for them. We have workshops where they can become an author by the time their summer vacations are over, published author. We have something where they can learn how to create and create their own comic
Wow.
series. Yeah, we are even planning to teach them magic tricks, and become a magician also. So,
My son is going to be interested. I mean, I'm
aw-
already signing up.
awesome, awesome. So, plenty of action for children. See, the thing is that if during this period they enjoy they fall back in love with the learning process, which what has happened over the last 2 years because of the pandemic. It has been a catastrophe
True.
for I don't have a softer word for it. It has been a catastrophe for school kids and college kids. And if they get and the biggest challenge right now is to get back into that learning process and start enjoying it again. If they
Hmm.
can do that, and if the parents see a way that they can do that, uh, and uh, and if that particular membership continues not just for 2 months but for an entire year, and by the way, not just for that child, in the same membership the entire family
Hmm.
gets membership for free,
Hmm.
right? I don't see any reason
Not to
anyone
join.
can yeah, not
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Rajesh, now let's say, for example, I want to start a community. Some of the
Hmm.
listeners wants to start a community.
Hmm.
What are the advice would you give in identifying what community to build and
Hmm.
how to build it?
Okay. What community to build will come from within you.
Hmm.
You know, what are your interests? Where does your passion lie?
Hmm.
Yeah. For example, in our last meetup, there was this lady who came up and says, I'm a good singer, and I would like to build a community." Now, she's a singer. She's passionate about singing, so naturally, she wants to build a community around that. Yeah. So, what are your interests? That is the key,
Hmm.
right? For example, my interests in these three communities that I've built, one was travel, pure and simple travel. The other was that spirit of helping out, and bringing together two such disparate sets of people, the sighted and the unsighted, together and building a community over there. And the third was my love for books. So
Hmm.
where does your love lie?
Hmm.
Yeah. And how to start? That you need to start small. You need to start
Hmm.
within your circle. Spread the word, and if your community has legs to stand on, it will grow. There is no way
Wonderful.
it can stop. Yeah.
Wonderful. Do you do any kind of promotional things about the community, or would you encourage doing it, especially coming from a branding perspective? Would you encourage anything there?
Yes, why not? If you are planning to have a large community of people, then branding and marketing has to happen. We regularly our Instagram and Facebook handles of Jungly CEO. We have regular action on that, and now even for Grey Leap, uh, we are going to be very active over here. And the more people that you reach out to, the better it is going to be. Because even though community, as per me, the real joy of a community is in that face-to-face interaction, sitting across the table or in a room together. But online part, I see that as a funnel to get people in. By all
Mm-hmm.
means, this should be done, and it should be done in a in an engaging way, in an effective way, which really makes people, number one, curious about it, and then they should want to be a part of it, and it should connect to them at some level. Yes.
Yeah. So from what I'm hearing from you, it is community is basically an extension of who you are.
Yeah.
And that is what it is going to be. Wonderful.
Mm.
Rajesh, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed our conversation. Don't forget to check the communities that Rajesh is building. If you liked our conversation, please share them with your friends. Thank you and have life of wins.